Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ultimate Channel CK. And here we talk about health, wellness, and diets with me, Dr. Lewis Muchile. Now, today, I want us to talk about yeast infection in women. Why am I saying women? Because yeast infection affects men on the lowest percentage. So, yeah, majority it attacks or affects women. That's why I'm concentrating on women. So it's also called vulvovaginal candidiasis. Now, yeast infection, that is a fungal infection. It's caused by Candida albicans. Candida albicans is a fungus that resides in the genitalia of a woman naturally. So it resides in your vagina and causes no harm until your immunity is compromised. So once your immunity goes down, then these they are called opportunistic fungals or opportunistic microbes. So once your immunity is altered or is compromised, then they start causing you infection. So yeast infection is caused by overgrowth of these bacteria. Okay, so once they grow out of control, now you start getting this itching. So what are the symptoms of Candida infection? Symptom number one, how do you know you have it? So you start itching. Yeah? So women start producing this whitish discharge that is a little foul. Then you start itching all the time. The woman is uncomfortable trying to scratch the privates. Again, there is redness of the vulva, the area, the one that covers the vagina. It becomes red. And then irritation and burning sensations. So it's a little uncomfortable for women, and those who have gone through it, they understand it. Now, what are the major causes, or what causes this overgrowth of Candida? Number one cause is misuse of antibiotics. Now, every time you have a common cold, this is a viral infection. What you need is antihistamines to subside the fever, the infection, and then paracetamol maybe to subside your fevers. But most of us go to the chemist and buy a Moxil or any other strong antibiotic like Augmentin, so that you target bacterial infection. But if you don't have a bacterial infection, then that means this antibiotic is wasted. So first of all, it will destroy all the bacteria that are helpful for you in your gut down to your genitals. And that means once it destroys those bacteria, remember this bacteria are the one that keeps the yeast in check. So once you destroy this bacteria, and then the yeast gets a chance to overgrow. So that brings you problem, this infection. Number two, douching and sprays. Now the vagina is a self-cleansing organ. You do not need to cleanse it. You do not need to use sprays to give it a perfect smell. Some of you even eat pineapples before sex, with the thought that your vagina will smell like a pineapple. So there are things that women do for the sake of men that are a little off. So do not spray your vagina, even if it's the most expensive spray and it has been bucketed. Do not use them. The vagina cleanses itself. Number three, we have contraceptives. Hormonal contraceptives imbalance your hormones. Remember, these are synthetic hormones that are being introduced into your body to bring you a balance. Now, if your diet is in fix and you're not on drugs, be sure that your hormones shall be fixed. So you don't need hormonal contraceptives. I actually said previously that hormonal contraceptives are the enemy of reproductive health in women. So women stay away from hormonal contraceptives by all means. So these ones will mess your hormones, and these ones will also give you Candida infections. Number four, HIV and AIDS, cancer, diabetes mellitus, and pregnancy. All these conditions that I've mentioned have one thing in common. They have low immunity. They lower the immunity of the woman. And remember, we said that this is an opportunistic infection. So once you lower the immunity, you give the fungus a chance to multiply. So that will bring you a problem. And this one spreads the fungus even into the mouth. So you see oral candidiasis too. Good. So again, poor hygiene. That is number 5. So poor hygiene. Women who exercise good hygiene, good vaginal hygiene, they don't wash their vaginas with bathing soap and those medicated soaps, they don't experience these conditions even when they are pregnant. So if you maintain good hygiene and good dieting, then you'll never experience this candida infection because your immunity is in check, and therefore it keeps it in check too. Good. So those are some of the causes, major causes of the candida infection. Now that you've known all these causes, you've known the symptoms and how you know that you have this infection, how do you manage this infection? Number one, we've already said, if your diet is in check and your immunity is in check, you will not experience this condition at all. So please take note of what we teach about diets in both pregnant women and both diabetic and hypertensive patients, and even in healthy individuals, so that you can maintain your immunity and avoid this infection because it's very irritating. So if you have to go for treatment, then there are over-the-counter medicines for fungal infections, miconazole, clotrimazole pessaries, the ones that you insert to clear the fungal infections. These drugs will work, but they work between 1 to 6 days. So if you use these drugs for 1 to 6 days and there is no absolute change, that means it's a chronic infection, and that will need, or a complicated infection, and that will need to seek medication and medical advice from a doctor or a gynecologist. Yeah, so now for men, this infection affects them to a minor extent. They'll just feel some little itching when they're urinating, then it disappears because men are not affected mostly by this candida. So a man who doesn't show any symptoms, even if you have this infection as his woman and the man does not show these symptoms, then they don't need to be treated because the immunity will handle it. Lastly, women who use yogurt to cleanse their vagina. Yogurt has no nutritional value because it has been processed. And we talked about processed milk and yogurt in our previous videos. So you can make use of that. So yogurt, the bacteria in yogurt has already been killed due to high temperatures. It's called lactobacillus, which is supposed to maintain the pH of your vagina. You don't wash your vagina with yogurt. It was supposed to be drunk. When you drink it, then you get this bacteria which gets its access to the vagina and helps you maintain the pH of the vagina. But remember, nowadays yogurt is full of sugar. So sugar will inhibit even absorption of nutrients and will bring you more problems. So those people who utilize yogurt for this purpose, kindly be warned. Maintain your hygiene, get away of douching, boost your immunity, and you'll be fine. So thank you for watching and see you in the next.